Hey everyone. Okay, so today in Writer's Workshop, we're going to continue with story patterns. Okay, and you're probably thinking, why is she still going over this? Like, why are we still doing this? This is boring. And I'm sure that's what you're thinking, but this is a really big part in becoming writers, and it's important to understand all the parts of a book and what goes into a book to be able to understand what you're going to write about. You can't just start writing and not really know what you're writing about, and this gives us a good place. So I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not a very good writer, and I always struggled with it. But over the summer, I went to school and I learned how to become a better writer so that I could be a better teacher whenever I'm a writer, whenever I'm teaching writing. And so I went to school, and these people taught me all about how to write. And this is what they said worked. And I'm going to tell you right now, I became such a better writer. Even when I'm teaching my little girl, she's even saying, wow, Mom, you're writing better than you have been. And I was like, thanks. So I know that you may not like what I have, and it's kind of boring. I promise. You will really like it when we start to write our own stories. It's important to continue to look through authors' eyes and see what they're all talking about and what they're telling us, okay? So that's how we're going to continue with story patterns. Let's go back over our writing diamond. Okay, so our writing diamond, in the beginning, okay, it's very short. Our beginning of our story is always short. It's just talking to us about the character and kind of the issue he's having, the problem. He's not telling us everything. When we get to the middle, there are going to be tons of things that he is going through, all of these problems that he's going through, all in the middle, and it's a huge chunk of our story. If you remember the grumpy monkey from yesterday, the beginning was only like 30 seconds, and the end was only like 30 seconds. The middle was a 4-minute long video. That's a long time. I want you to think about a movie that you may have seen just recently. So we're a big fan of Sophia. Okay, we love Sophia. Princess Sophia is something that's big in our house. So then in the beginning, they just kind of tell us a little bit about, what she's doing. And I believe the one that they were talking, the one that my little girl was watching yesterday, had to do with her going and being partners with her brother in different competitions. And then her brother was being very competitive. I don't know if you've seen that one. Let me know if you have. But in the beginning, they just talked about how they were going to be partners and how she was going to be a part of the games that he was doing. Well, in the middle, the entire show, which was about 15 minutes, or a chunk of the show, was all about how she kept having problems and he was being competitive and not being very kind, and she didn't want to be that way. And that was all that it was about, just kind of all the problems that they came across. In the end, she finally told her brother, it's not kind to not be good. It's not nice to not be kind to people if they don't win. And that was the end. So a big part of your shows that you watch, that's the middle. And so I want you to be thinking about that with the show that you may watch today or tomorrow or over the weekend, that the middle is just a little piece. So that's our writing diamond. We're always going to go back to it. So yesterday we filled out one of these for the grumpy monkey, where we talked about in the beginning, Jim was very grumpy. In the middle, Jim and his friends were trying to find out ways for him to become ungrumpy. But finally, in the end, he realized it's okay to have grumpy days. And what you don't realize is you just created a story. You just created a story for the grumpy monkey. Now, are you using the author's of the Grumpy Monkey story. But you're learning that a story is going to have a beginning, it's going to have a middle, and it's going to have an end. I also didn't go quite over the author's purpose, and I'm very sorry about that. But kind of what we were discussing, the author's purpose is, are they trying to entertain us? And entertain us means to keep our attention and to have us really excited about what we're reading. And there's all these different kinds of stories in there. Are they trying to entertain us and keep us engaged in the story? Are they just telling us information? Or are they trying to give us an opinion? And I'm sorry that I didn't mention that yesterday, but it's always important to realize what kinds of writing and the purpose for why that author wrote his book. What we're going to do is we are going to listen to the book on Giraffes Can't Dance. And this is a great book. And we're going to, just like I did yesterday with Grumpy Monkey, we're going to stop it along the way, and I'm going to show you beginning, middle, and end, okay? And then together, we're going to fill out our template, okay? So we're going to do it together. I don't want you to feel like you're having to do this all on your own. We're going to do it together, okay? So let's get started with listening to the book Giraffes Can't Dance.
Welcome to Storybook Nanny. Subscribe for more books read aloud. Giraffes Can't Dance by Giles Andre and Guy Parker Reese. Gerald was a tall giraffe whose neck was long and slim, but his knees were awfully crooked and his legs were rather thin. He was very good at standing still and munching shoots off trees. But when he tried to run around, he buckled at the knees. Now, every year in Africa, they hold the jungle dance, where every single animal turns up to skip and prance. And this year, when the day arrived, poor Gerald felt so sad, because when it came to dancing, he was really very bad. The warthogs started waltzing, and the rhinos rock and rolled. The lions danced a tango that was elegant and bold. The chimps all did a cha-cha with a very Latin feel. And 8 baboons then teamed up for a splendid Scottish reel. Gerald swallowed bravely as he walked toward the floor. But the lions saw him coming, and they soon began to roar. Hey, look at clumsy Gerald, the animals all sneered. Giraffes can't dance, you silly fool. Oh, Gerald, you're so weird.
So there's our beginning. What's happening in the beginning? What's happening to Gerald? Gerald thinks he can't dance. He thinks that he's not good at dancing. That's our beginning. So let's see in the middle. Let's see all the problems and things that start to arise.
Welcome to Storybook Nanny. Subscribe for You're So Weird. Gerald simply froze up. He was rooted to the spot. They're right, he thought. I'm useless. Oh, I feel like such a clot. So he crept off from the dance floor and he started walking home. He'd never felt so sad before, so sad and so alone. Then he found a little clearing and he looked up at the sky. Oh, the moon can be so beautiful, he whispered with a sigh.
Excuse me,
Coughed a cricket who'd seen Gerald earlier on.
but sometimes when you're different, you just need a different song. Listen to the swaying grass and listen to the trees. To me, the sweetest music is those branches in the breeze. So imagine that the lovely moon is playing just for you. Everything makes music if you really want it to.
With that, the cricket smiled and picked up his violin. Then Gerald felt his body do the most amazing thing. His hooves had started shuffling, making circles on the ground. His neck was gently swaying, and his tail was swishing round. He threw his legs out sideways, and he swung them everywhere. Then he did a backward somersault and leapt up in the air. Gerald felt so wonderful, his mouth was open wide. I am dancing! Yes, I'm dancing! I am dancing! Gerald cried. Then, one by one, each animal who'd been there at the dance arrived while Gerald boogied on and watched him, quite entranced. They shouted, "It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer!"
So, what happened in the middle? In the middle of the story, the cricket helped Gerald find the music he was good at dancing to.
Welcome to Storybook Nanny. It's a miracle! We must be in a dream! Gerald's the best dancer that we have ever seen! How did you learn to dance like that? Please, Gerald, tell us how. But Gerald simply twirled around and finished with a bow. Then he raised his head and looked up at the moon and stars above. "We all can dance," he said, "when we find music that we love." If you like.
So, finally, in the end, what happened? All of his friends wanted to know how he became such a good dancer. And what did he say? He said that everyone can dance when you find the right music. So in the end, did his friends think he was a good dancer? In the end, he said that so finally, in the end, Gerald told his friends, everyone can be a good dancer when they find the right music. So was he helping a friend? Let's look back and let's read what we have. In the beginning, Gerald believes he's not a good dancer. In the middle of the story, the cricket helped Gerald find the music he was good at dancing to. Finally, in the end, Gerald told his friends everyone can be a good dancer when they find the right music. So when you see it through Arthur's eyes, look at what you're doing. These are the steps to creating a story. What was the author's purpose? Was he trying to entertain us? Was he trying to give us information? Or were they trying to persuade us to do something? I know those are still big words, but he was trying to entertain us. They were entertaining us and telling us this story about Gerald and how he became a good dancer. So what do we think? Pretty good story, right? That's a good book too. So for your assignment, all you have to do is copy the 3 sentences that we wrote and the author's purpose. The 3 sentences that we wrote are, in the beginning, Gerald believes he is not a good dancer. In the middle, the cricket helped Gerald find the music he was good at dancing to. Finally, in the end, Gerald told his friends everyone can be a good dancer when they find the right music. And then the author's purpose was to entertain us. I'm going to fix that. You can either print this out or you just write it on a piece of notebook paper and you can take a picture and send it to me. I hope you guys enjoyed that story because that's one of my favorites too.